What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today we are checking out the Rivera Knucklehead tray. Let's do it. I don't know why I'm screaming. Alright, hope you guys are doing great out there today. If this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Kyle, and what I do is I take all sorts of awesome high gain related guitar gear, I record it with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you the unprocessed audio on your end. Yay! So if you're into E standard thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and dudes that can't wait to get their shorts line tan on after this video, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing on your way out so you don't miss any more of my stuff. Thanks! Alright guys, so it is finally time for me to check out the Rivera Knucklehead tray, or the K-tray as it's commonly known. When I first started my channel, like really at the beginning of the channel, before I was even coming on screen with the amplifiers, coming on screen. That's a different website. One of the first clips that I uploaded was of my buddy Jason Howell's Knucklehead tray that he let me borrow for a couple of days, and I threw an SM57 on a G12T75 speaker, not a V30, and I put an Overdrive, I don't even remember what, in front of it, and I honestly got it sounding really good, and I thought that the clip itself sounded really good, which I was surprised because miking up T75s is usually not good. And a lot of people that came to my channel early on and saw that video said the same thing. They're like, dude, you need to get this amp back and do an updated review because this clip sounds insane, this amp sounds massive, and it took me 2 years to do it, but I finally tracked another one down. I have it here in my possession. Man, it is just a really cool, really unique amp. If you're not familiar with Rivera amps, they are built here in the US by Paul Rivera. Paul Rivera used to work in Fender's custom shop department, I believe, for their amps. I could be wrong. Let me know down below in the comments because I honestly don't know that much about Rivera. I just know that he worked for Fender, and basically he branched off, started his own amp company, which is Rivera, which are usually typically known for the great clean sounds, go figure, because he worked at Fender. But this is a freaking high gain monster. Notable players that have used the K-tray, Mick Thompson of Slipknot, you may have heard of him before, but other than that, I don't really know. I don't really know who else has used Rivera stuff in the past. All I know is this thing has a really unique sound signature. So let's go ahead and dive into it. It is an all-tube amplifier. For this demo, we are going into my Mesa 1999 traditional 4x12 cab with the vintage 30s, stock V30s, SM57 on the V30. We're using my Balaguer Typhon here with a Duncan distortion in the bridge. We'll swap out a couple of different guitars. We were boosting it with the Friedman Buxom boost because, as you will see, the low end on this thing is pretty much out of control, like completely unruly, so it really needs help tightening up. I have the boost off. There is a pull boost. We're gonna push that in. We're gonna put these EQs back at noon. We're gonna dial that gain down. We're not gonna touch the first gain or the first channel because it's basically a clean channel, and you know how we feel about cleans here at Belligerent Amateur Central. Let's put the presence and the foundation, which is kind of like a depth control, back. Everything is at 5, including the gain. No, the gain is at 2. So as you can see, very muffled sounding. Let's get that presence up and a little bit more treble to bring it to life. Pretty cool sounding right off the bat. It needs a little bit more treble. The mids on this amp are very round, really full, honestly. It's just very full, very thick sounding. I really don't think that you're going to be able to do the classic rock thing very well on this amplifier because of how nasally it is. I mean, it kind of does it, but there are some annoying frequencies when you're boosting the treble that high. In my personal opinion on this amp, it starts to get a little harsh. But as you can see, we've already got a decent amount of low end going. And that only seems to increase as you increase the gain. So of course, let's push that gain up. And as it stands right now, without the pull boost on, it's kind of a grainy gain structure. It's a little bit ratty sounding, definitely not smooth, definitely not compressed. And it is just, it's a little bit harsh. Let's turn that treble back down, but you'll see quickly that it's just a dark sounding amp overall. If you really try to get the sizzlies like I like them for the more modern style tones, they're just not really there. They're not inherent in the voicing of this thing. Let's go ahead and bump that gain up to 5. And there is the low end. The low end really starts to come on as you push the gain, and you will see that this amp has probably, I don't know, I'm a little nervous to say it, but as far as I can remember at this moment, this amp has more low end on tap than any other amp that I've ever played. It's a bold statement, Cotton, but we'll see how it pans out. Let's turn that gain up to 7. And this is where you really got to start dialing in the low end. The foundation controls really, really low frequencies. Like, think of the PV resonance control and then go lower, because they're very, very low down frequencies. If we turn it all the way down, it sounds a little bit more like a normal amplifier, right? But if we turn it up to 6, you can see it's introducing a lot of really low frequencies and also kind of saggy frequencies. It makes the amp react a little slower. It sounds a little slower. So let's go ahead and pump that gain all the way up to 10. Got quite a bit of noise coming through, but as you can see, a lot of gain. It's still not smooth. It's a little bit ratty. It's got an interesting voicing to it. Let's go ahead and bump those mids up a little bit more, and let's dial that treble back. I feel like this would be a great amp for some doomy tones. All right, but let's go ahead, let's dial that gain back down. Let's actually try the pull boost. So this seems to add a little bit of saturation, a little bit of compression, and it also adds a little bit of kind of top end grind. Seemed to bump the volume down too when I did that, so let's turn the volume up just a tad. And yeah, it's just got a really nasally way about it, guys. If we turn that gain up even more to get into the more high gain, really biffed that chord, but as you can see, it's just not a tight amp. I personally like it with the mids rolled back a little bit because it is so nasally. Not that much though. Let's actually turn the lows down a tad. Let's turn that treble back up. With no boost in front, it's just such a loose amp. It responds so slowly to the picking hand. Not my favorite, but you can start to really tailor it and make it sound cool with boosts in front. We'll get into that. Yeah, not my favorite tone. Let's get those mids back up a little bit. Honestly, I do love the mid voicing on this amp. I wish we could get it tighter because it is a very aggressing, very mid-forward in a nice way. Let's try to see if we can tighten it up with just a regular tube screamer. We'll start with that. And as you can see, a pretty significant difference on that low end. Let's get a little bit of foundation in. Let's pull that treble back and the mids back just a tad. So we're getting a nice amount of punch with the tube screamer. It's still not super tight because those round low mids are so bulbous, but otherwise it's a pretty nice sounding tone. It definitely has kind of a rectifier thing in the low mids going on, but just pushed even further. Like the low mids are so nasally that, yeah, it just, for me, it results in a low mid tone that I really, not a huge fan of for the way that I like to dial things in. I like things to be a little leaner in those frequencies. Let's try a different boost though. Let's turn that off. Let's try the Electric Eye Mud Killer because you can really cut some low frequencies with this thing. Cutting the low mids in front seems to be the key. So let's turn the tightness up on the pedal. And let's turn the bass up on the amp. Kind of an unassuming Metallica amp, but for most other thrash stuff, it just does not have the tightness for it. Let's go ahead and try a different guitar with some lower output pickups and see how it handles that. All right, guys, I've got my Heritage H150 Artisan Aged with the Duncan Antiquities. Nothing else has changed. Does sound a little bit tighter. Let's pull that treble back. Let's pull the mids back up. But that's still with an overdrive on. Let's turn the overdrive off, nothing on in front of the amp. That's a crazy difference. This amp reacts heavily to pedals out front. Let's turn the bass down, mids up. Sounds very sludgy, doomy, also very noisy. Let's turn that gain down. It gets really ratty when you push the gain really heavily. I like the way that the front end of this amp compresses with an overdrive though, because it smooths out a lot of those nastier frequencies. Let's try that Friedman Buxom boost again because this thing just does a killer job at tightening the low end. It's a really unique sounding tone. There's a lot of grind and nastiness to that. Even though it's still not my favorite, it's still not quite tight enough for me, I'm having a lot of fun because I actually think it sounds really good. Let's try a little bit more common overdrive here. We've got the MXR M77. I've been turning people on to this thing left and right. All right, right, so I like it better with these particular low output pickups, these PAF style pickups. But let's try something with some really tight actives like Fishman Fluence, because I think that those, in this case, might actually benefit the voicing of this amp quite a bit. All right, guys, I've got my infamous Schecter E1 Evil Twin here. So here we go, Fishman Fluence Modern Ceramic into this thing. All right, so it works pretty well. Let's try that TS9 again. All right, does not sound bad at all in my opinion, but let's go down into drop C real quick and test that out. Honestly, sounds awesome for the drop C thing, even with just a regular tube screamer. I was really digging that because for like the hardcore riffs, you don't need ultra tight and punchy unless that's your thing. It sounds really natural for that stuff, and I actually really dug that. Last but not least, let's check out that 7-string. All right, guys, last but not least, the Schecter PT SLS Elite. Turn my volume down. This has the EMG 57 in the bridge. We still have that TS9 on. Let's play a drop C hardcore riff in drop A, because that's the only 7-string I know how to do. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for me today. I had a lot of fun, even though this isn't my favorite amp in the world. I think it's got a lot of cool sounds in it. Very unique voicing, very unique feel. But what did you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. Do you have experience with this amp? Did I dial it in completely wrong? Let me know down in the comments, guys. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time here, hit that like button on the way out if you like the video, because we got plenty more like this coming your way. And subscribe for the same exact reason. At this point, I don't even know why you would, because it's obvious I can't even string together coherent sentences. If you want to support the channel, down in the description of this video are all of my affiliate links like Sweetwater and Zounds. Zounds actually provided this 7-string so I could help make that portion of the video for you guys. So if you guys go down there and click on anything and buy anything from those fine retailers, I get a kickback and it really helps the channel. I would really appreciate it. It's gonna be it for me. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.
You know what this wall is missing? Another amp. There we go.